Two peas in a bong.
Two peas in a bong. Two peas
Two
in a
peas in
bong.
a bong.
Two Peas and a Bong. Two Peas and a Bong. Two peas
Two peas
Two
in a
peas
bong.
in a bong.
What's up, y'all? Two Peas in the Bong in the building again. It's your boy DP.
It's your boy KP.
And thoroughly impressed with the NBA script writers. It's your boy Bong. What's up?
Oh man. Well,
Man.
that was a good game, man. That was
I
a
think
good
it
game.
grew to be a good game. It grew to be a good game for me.
Yeah, I
I,
mean,
I'd say,
at the end of it, it's ended
yeah.
up being a cool game. So
It had a cool moment. How about that? it had a few cool moments. But man, OKC back squandering games. Damn. It's
or
like
is
they
it Indiana back taking games?
I mean one
It's a little. It's a little of both.
okay.
It's. I mean, when you're at home and you have a team that I think Indiana the turnovers were lopsided. So Indiana, and I just want to make sure that I'm saying the right turnovers. Indiana had 24 turnovers. OKC had 6 turnovers.
19
So
in the first
you,
half from Indiana.
yeah, but
That
you,
was
so you
crazy.
only turn the ball over 6 times. You get 36 out of your star player. You get Lou Dort. Lou Dort hits 5 3-pointers. You're up by 15 with 9 minutes and 27 seconds. At home, you got to win that game.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so that
even if OKC had won that game, Indiana, you still got to feel good that you were close with all those turnovers, didn't play well, and you still end up making it a close game. That would be something to kind of boost your confidence going into the game too. But these motherfuckers took the goddamn game. So
Yeah, and I'll say OKC for a majority of the game had control of the game, right? So they were at or around double digit lead um, for a majority of the game, and um, when you look back at it, it's a game that if you're a championship team, if you're a team that's supposed to be the best of the best in the league, you got the MVP, like you can't lose this game. Like you can't lose this game. There's no way you should lose this game at home. Sets the tone. Um, Now you've given Indiana a breath of fresh air. You've given them life in a series where nobody, and I'm always weary about the series where um, it's so lopsided. Everybody's leaning one way. And it's like nobody's giving Indiana a chance. Everybody's saying OKC. Oh, it's a foregone conclusion. OKC is going to win this game. No, foregone conclusion. OKC is going to win this series. The same thing they did with the New York Knicks. Oh man, New York is going to take care of Indiana. Same thing they did with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh man, Kansas City about to three-peat. We'll holler at them in 2 weeks, and they'll be making NFL history. And whenever the money is leaning one way, Vegas got a way of like humbling the bettors and humbling the fans and making motherfuckers understand, like, hold on, man, they still got to get out there, strap it up, and play the game. So shout out to Indiana and OKC. Fucking should be ashamed of yourself.
yeah, well, um, I don't know. I before, I think when we did our predictions, I still said OKC would win the series. But I'm rooting for Indiana, if I'm being honest. I did think OKC would win, but I hope Indiana wins.
I still have OK. I had them in 6, so I figure Indiana will get 2. I didn't, but I will say this: the way that they got it, I wouldn't have predicted that they got it this way. I was saying that I believe that Indiana would outscore them. Just it'd be like an offense barrage of shots throughout the course of the game. They'd be between 120 and 130, and it would just be a little too much. They actually
Like
won
that
it.
Minnesota game that they lost.
Yes, exactly. When Anthony Edwards was lights out. Um, and so looking at them, OKC, not Denver, Indiana actually did a heck of a job on the defensive side with OKC shooting. So OKC shot terrible from the field. I think it was like 36% or 37%. And then they killed them on the glass. Indiana had 59 rebounds. OKC had like 37. So those two things in itself gave Indiana a puncher's chance. And then down the stretch in the fourth quarter, I don't know what it is about them hitting 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, but it's insane. Like, for your center to pump fake, do a sidestep 3-pointer
That was luck.
from the shoulder and bank it off the glass, like
that was luck.
that was a crazy shot.
Yeah.
I thought that not Neesmith.
Nembhard.
Neesmith was actually pretty
The
good.
the magnets where it worked.
Nembhard was hooping.
Nembhard on that step back 3 was a terrible shot, and it went in. And then he shot a terrible when, like, a few plays, later on down the stretch, and Siakam got that offensive rebound and finished, which probably could have been a foul.
It should have been. Should have been the M1.
Yeah, it just, but it's interesting how the ball just seems to bounce Indiana's way a lot of the times in the fourth quarter. You saw them look like they were trying to put together a run in the third quarter, and they pulled the game within 6, but then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hit a 3-pointer to put them up 9 to close the third quarter. So at that point, I'm like, okay, 9 going into the fourth. Let's see how Indiana comes out. And they didn't necessarily come out good.
In the fourth quarter,
the other guy that played well was Kobe Toppin.
You saying they didn't come out good in the fourth
Kobe
quarter?
Toppin played well. No, they didn't. Indiana fell behind by 15 so
KP.
OKC was up 15 with 9:27 left.
I think KP got a delay.
KP, I need you to stop blaspheming.
Can you hear me?
Stop.
Yeah, we could hear you, but I think we say stuff, you have a delay.
I heard you blaspheme. that was blasphemous.
Oh, you heard me say Kobe Toppin.
Don't do that.
No, man. Look, I'm gonna get a man his props, man. He was Kobe Toppin tonight. He channeled that inner Kobe. I ain't never seen Obi shoot the ball from 3 the way he did. I think one of the things we've always said on the show is he falls in love with the 3-pointer a little too much.
They all do.
But the 3-pointer, but the 3-pointer was really, really good to him today. He did turn the ball over a lot. He had 5 turnovers, but man, he was lights out, man. And even even with Carlisle, I thought it was interesting in the fourth quarter. Obi Toppin, had it going well. At one point, he was the leading scorer. You had Miles Turner. Miles Turner hit a couple shots. He started to get it going. And then you pull Obi Toppin out. You put Siakam in. And I'm like, wow, they pulled out their leading scorer. But with 3 minutes left, they pull out Miles Turner, who kind of had it going in the fourth, put Obi Toppin back in, and it finds a way to work out. So, yeah, I thought that was crazy, man.
Yeah.
Al sucks a mock draft says he you say he got OKC in 5. Wow, you think they're gonna rip off 4 straight?
That's that gentleman sweep.
That would be the backdoor gentleman sweep. So I mean,
Man,
OKC.
It's possible.
you gotta change it. You know, the NBA commentators keep trying to rewrite history, so it's like the Nash dribble, the
Right,
Gortat screen. So
right.
if OKC comes back and they sweep them, that's the Lakers sweep, the way that they did Philly. So you gotta call that the
Oh,
Lakers
with
sweep.
the
There you
Allen
go.
Iverson
Yeah.
Absolutely.
over
They
Luke.
Yeah.
give him game 1 and then come out there and run down on him.
Dizzle in the building. What's up, Dizzle?
Dizzle, what's good? What's
What
good?
up,
What's
Dizzle?
good?
Hey,
Man,
hey Dizzle, who you got in this series? Did you make a prediction before it started? Um, yeah, well, I saw it the same way. Some of the things you were talking about, KP. Defensively, I thought the Pacers did well, and like I say, if they would have lost, there were still some things to look at or some takeaways for them to have that would bode well for them going in to try to snatch a game in game 2 and get one at OKC's crib. Um, I was expecting Siakam to be that guy. You know, we talked about him a lot before.
Hmm.
But I would say he wasn't terrible. You know, he was solid. Nimhart is they gotta tip their cap to him, man, because he did a lot of things to kind of keep them in the game. And that's the thing. Like you look at the stats and you look at their points. I don't know who scored what, but the point distribution, if I recall, was pretty even. Even in the game, you could see like Halliburton ended with what, like 14, 15 or something like that, 14
14.
points,
Yeah,
14
14.
points. And okay, Al Sucks at mock draft says Siakam was the leading scorer. Um,
Yes.
yeah, but it wasn't like that 30-point explosion he had, or anything like that. Like what was Siakam's what did Siakam put up tonight? Um
19
19,
points, 10 rebounds, 3
19,
assists.
19, and you
Yeah.
got um Halliburton with 14.
Yeah.
Let's see,
Miles
what did he?
Turner with 15.
Yeah,
Obi Toppin with
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
17.
Just kind of spread
Yeah.
out, right? You two
And your boy
people.
Nimhart.
Nimhard had 14 as well,
Yeah. And
and then
yeah.
you got Neesmith with 10, and McConnell, put in 9. So like,
3 guys with double doubles.
right, and
hey, hey,
almost 7 guys in double figures scoring.
Yeah.
uh, hey, your boy Hallie is showing exactly why he got sidestepped for the Eastern Conference MVP. Did y'all
Why
see
you?
that? Did y'all see the video?
Yeah.
I did. I I
We.
don't know how I missed that in real time. I don't know how I missed it in real time.
That motherfucker
Hey,
said, Halliburton, please step to the back, please.
Halliburton, can you pass this to Siakam? Hey, he kept it moving though.
Yeah.
He kept it together.
Scotty boy in the building. He say
Hey,
Shay a hoe.
Scotty
Hey,
boy, did you have him on your parlay?
clearly.
Absolute. Well, nah, he cleared on points.
Let's see. Dizzle did answer. He said, "No, I don't. I like both league guards, and just happy no super team winning the finals." Okay, I can respect it.
Man, so from a guy that's in a small market.
Yeah, they've been talking about the small market stuff. Um, and I guess I've been seeing polls like people around just social media period saying that this is good for the NBA. and comparing it to the NFL like we were doing last time where we were talking about the small markets and all that stuff. So
The
um,
commissioner, the NBA commissioner, compared it to the
he,
NFL
he
this
did
morning,
to
or
the
yesterday, or this morning. I can't remember.
to specifically to a Steelers Green Bay
Yeah,
game, right?
yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
Steelers Green Bay Super Bowl, he said. He's like, you gonna watch,
No, no. He said it
regardless.
would. He said it would do numbers because
Yeah.
those are. But I mean, when you think about it in the context of football, they're like the Steelers would be like maybe not the Lakers, but they're
A
like
blue blood
the
of the
yeah, they're a blue
NFL.
blood for sure, for sure.
Yeah. They're royalty. Yeah.
Look at
Absolutely, absolutely.
look at
Nah, you can't. Hey,
engineer.
listen, engineer, you can't be. First off, welcome. Appreciate you tapping in. You can't be face of the league when your teammate uh, wins the Eastern
Oh, so it's
Conference MVP
so it's
over
the
you,
old Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown
or
repeat
the
in a sense.
Yeah.
or the Steph
Absolutely.
Curry and Andre Iguodala.
Nah, because Curry's one of the faces though. I think we
No,
were
He's a face.
Curry out.
I was fucking around. I was just fucking around. But
Did
um,
y'all see how close the MVP was?
Oh, the voting
They put the
breakdown?
vote.
Yeah.
They put.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they put the voting breakdown up.
Yeah, I saw it.
yeah.
You didn't see a bong?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, so it was 9 votes, and so wasn't no tie. And it came down 5-4.
Look,
So
Wow,
Al
that's
Sucks at
crazy.
Mock Draft said Hallie ain't even have a great game. He just hit the shot of his life.
For the third time.
I was about to say, like, they put that graphic up talking about most fourth quarter and I think fourth quarter and OT either tying shots or game winners. And he has 5. I forget what date it said from what point on, but he has 5. I think LeBron was up there with like 8 or something like that. And somebody else was up there with 5. But I mean, at what point you gonna just give Halliburton credit and say, he's clutch?
He's a tough shot maker. I'll give him that. He's a tough shot maker.
yeah,
If game on the line, no matter how it looks, give it to Hallie. Like I mean, he'll make a shot to win you a game. He's shown that this playoffs, but his inconsistency as a leader on a team is also speaks volumes. But hey, last shot for the game winner, fuck it, give it to Hallie. I'll give him that. I'll give him
yeah,
that. No hate there, but we need more consistency if you're going to be not even the face of the league. And Scotty, we were saying that in jest, but we were not even face of the league, but just being the face of the team. If Siakam on any given day could be the face of the team, that speaks volumes in its own. But
So,
hell of a last shot of the game type guy.
but Bong, I'll ask you
yeah.
then, what does consistency look like for Halliburton? Because they won multiple games with him playing like this.
I mean, then he can be a team guy, but we can say that maybe um, Indiana doesn't have a true face of the team. That on any given night, it could be Siakam, it could be Haliburton, it could be KP's boy Kobe. It could be anybody can have a night, right? You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, if you're going to be the guy, we need to know. Like, if you talk about the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson's the guy. If you talk about, I mean, you can go down the rosters. Uh, like everybody has a guy that we can point to on most teams and say, like, this is the guy. Like, this is the guy when we need a shot, when we need a basket. Somebody's going to bring us home late in the game. It's the guy. As good as Jalen. What's his last name from OKC? Is it Jalen
Williams.
Williams?
Mm-hmm.
As good as Jalen Williams is, we know who the guy is for OKC. Um, as maybe you have a situation like Indiana is similar to a Houston, where it could be Jalen Green, it could be uh, Thompson. There's multiple guys that can be vying for the face of the team. Speaking of which, and not to change subjects, but I heard that Phoenix was trying to shop KD in one of the stops with Houston.
Well,
I
they
know
did.
you.
They hired
I know
their
you.
coach.
Yeah, I know you posted a short talking about some landing spots for KD, but apparently Houston was one of the spots where Phoenix is shopping KD, and they said that they have to keep lowering the price because nobody's taking, no one's biting. So
Yeah, not it goes against the yesterday's price. Is not today's price. It's like
Mm-hmm.
last year's price
yeah,
will not
absolutely.
be this year's price.
Yeah, it's the reverse. Reverse. Crisscross.
Reverse.
Absolutely.
Oh shit! Hey, but what's crazy though? Just going back to the Halliburton thing before we move on, like we put a lot on, and I'm just saying in general, like media fans and all that shit put a lot on like clutch shit, right?
Right.
And when you ask like who's the guy for the Pacers, most people are gonna say Halliburton. Like whether he's consistent with the stats or whatever, they'll say that because even if they get close, when it comes down to it, he's the one who's hitting the shot or closing the deal, right? So most I believe would say Halliburton.
I could agree with
Yeah,
that.
I'll agree. I'll
It,
agree with that.
it just looks different in Indiana.
Yeah.
It looks different because of all the guys that they have, and as you said earlier, they will come up with a balanced scoring attack and still win a game. And even with that come from behind victory, Halliburton only scored 4 points in the fourth quarter. Like
Mm-hmm.
at some points, he wasn't even trying to get the ball to shoot, and then when he did, he took a couple bad shots. Like, what the heck are you doing, Halliburton?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he came through at the end. The one thing that I was watching for on that last shot, I was looking at his follow through, and whether people will say, and I'm not talking about you, Bomb, but people will say magnets and stuff like that. Hey man, that man held his follow through and went through everything on that last shot. So it was like, oh yeah, that's cash.
I mean,
Soon
he
as
don't,
soon as
and
he
it
let it
don't.
go.
He ain't always shooting it the same way. You
No,
know.
he's not. But
Yeah.
that particular
Sometimes it's a
shot, it
flick.
was like, yeah,
Yeah.
like the one against New York,
Yeah. It's a
where he
flick.
got to throw it up there. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
it's tricky
I
at
mean, he's
best.
shooting it with confidence though. He don't give a fuck. Like he's taking a shot.
nah,
Like
no.
he don't care. And I
Yeah.
think that a lot has to do with just being confident enough to take that bitch. And he damn sure is. And Scotty Boy is in the building saying that magnets always in effect for him. So
Mhm.
and then Scotty Boy, I think he was asking, was that a shot at Kobe earlier? Not I think before you got on, KP called Obi Toppin Kobe Toppin.
Yeah, because he was hitting them 3-pointers today. He was shooting out of his mind.
And Bong, you said that was what?
That was blasphemous. He was, as the church would say, he was blaspheming. Don't do that, man. That
Yeah,
was that
Kobe
was, that was,
Toppin, man.
that was sacrilegious.
Yeah,
But
so the churches ain't asking to close the door today. They asking to open them to kick KP out, huh?
absolutely,
Okay.
I mean, so
kick him
next
out.
game,
Hey,
look,
kick him out square on his ass.
look. Today he was Kobe. Tomorrow he may be Obadiah. I don't know. You know, like who knows?
Oh
Yo.
shit.
Okay. So, what's next? Are we game 2 is what, on Saturday?
Ooh,
Let's see. Game 2 is on Sunday.
Sunday.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so
Yep.
Sunday. Man.
Yeah.
OKC bounces back.
They should.
Yeah.
They should. I tell you what. they lose the next game, it's a flip flop for me at that point. I think they out of there.
It's a wrap.
Oh wow.
Wrap.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
wrap.
But like I say, I still think
Hey,
I'm not going shy away from what I did say. I said OKC. I thought would this is their year. They have enough to beat all of the teams that were left in the field, and pretty much anybody in general. They're the most complete team. I'm still
hey,
just rooting for the Pacers.
What
hey,
one of
but
the things that go on,
nah. Go
Oof.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
One of the things that OKC got wrong in the beginning was they changed their lineup. So all
Off
throughout the
rip,
course of the playoffs,
off the
yeah,
rip.
all throughout the course of the playoffs, you've been playing the two big lineup with Hartenstein and with Chet Holmgren. And then in game one, you decide to start Case and Wallace. So I'm very interested to see if they go back with that lineup or if they go
Probably.
back to what got them there. But
I,
you've won over 80 games with
yeah.
this lineup that you've played.
When I meant,
Why now?
I
Why
thought you
in
meant
game
going back
one?
to the two big
Oh
lineup.
yeah, to the
Yeah,
original. Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
they'll go back to the two big lineup.
They got killed on the glass.
They did,
Killed on
they
the
did.
glass.
I mean, they did a cool job with on Holmgren. He wasn't
Yeah.
really as active as as he is and or has been in some of the other games leading up to this finals. But I would say, man, it was crazy because we were talking about uh the Pacers don't have the bit like a big, right?
Yeah.
Like Denver did, and we thought Denver, had the most success, but of course that's like maybe just an outlier because it's Jokic, right? But at this point, if if they because Siakam didn't play well, right? Siakam didn't play his best.
He was decent.
He was decent.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was decent.
decent.
Yeah, he was decent.
If
Yeah.
he let's say, well, on the flip side, I could also say Jalen Williams didn't play his best either,
No, he
right?
didn't.
So, but let's say Siakam
Mhm.
kicks it up a notch. They cut down the turnovers, um, get kind of in more of a flow. Do, could it look different for the game two? I mean, can the Pacers take control of game two and just have one of them blowout wins like they did against New York?
You said the Pacers.
The
I
Pacers.
don't some of the things that can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Some of the things that I think some of the things that I think that OKC will do to adjust. I think they're going to go with the two big lineup, but you have to attack Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant on defense was god awful. Like he's getting beaten and he's whining, complaining. What saved Thomas
Has
Bryant
been.
was in the second half, he hit, he got the dunk and then he hit a 3-pointer. So it kind of salvaged what
Yeah,
his game was looking like, but
but
they didn't attack him enough
but KP he played 8 minutes. Like he wasn't even
because he
that big of a factor for Indiana's situation.
in the fourth quarter he helped because he got the 5 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but I'm saying you talking about they gotta attack Bryant. Like he's
Oh,
not a
they
main factor. Like he's not even getting maximum minutes for that to even be like a real
but
thing.
even in nah, you can make a run at 8 minutes if you go at him every single time down. Make it your point. You know what?
You can make a
We're gonna
run in
get this.
8 straight minutes, but if you playing him 2 minutes here, a
Well, I'm
minute
saying, but
here,
if you play him four, and then four,
do we know
you
that
can
he did
still.
that?
Uh, I'd have to go back and study how his minutes were allocated, but I know when he got in, they got him out fast the first time because he was fouling as soon as he got in, and he couldn't guard anybody. And then they put him back in a little bit more the second time, and that's how he, got all his minutes. But he scored 5 points, and the second time he was out there, and they didn't. Shea hit a pull up jumper on him,
Hmm.
but they didn't attack him after that, and it was
So
like
basically,
y'all.
he's that guy you saying exploit. Like I was saying, look for
Absolutely.
the Siakam mismatch on the offensive side. You saying OKC, it should be alert when Brian is in the game.
Yeah.
It's automatic. Like go to that
Absolutely.
side, pick that side, or whatever,
Yep.
drag him out, whatever it is. All right, I could see that.
Orlando Penner.
Isaiah
Appreciate you tapping in.
Isaiah Joe was one that was my bad.
Yeah.
Isaiah Joe was one that was struggling defensively as well. So it was like when McConnell saw Isaiah Joe, it was like Christmas for him. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm going at him. Oh, this is a bucket. Which I'm still shocked that McConnell, as undersized as he is, doesn't shoot the three very well.
Oh man.
Continues to get to his spots and is effective.
But they're
Like,
sagging off of him, like allowing
the
him
Westbrook
to take
treatment,
the
the
three.
Rondo treatment.
Well, New York did the same thing, man. But I think McConnell shot well, right? Like six buckets or something like that, 4 buckets, something like that.
Damn.
Hey, Penner or Orlando Penner said, "What up, DP Bong and Easy E."
Oh,
Shout
he
out to
said
Orlando
KP bet so cold he caught one.
Yeah, man.
Penner.
It's the change in elevation, man, and weather, man.
It's all
Change in
good.
NyQuil, my
elevation and
guy.
weather.
You fighting through it though. You fighting through it.
Hey, they got
Absolutely.
that. That's crazy. That they got that pain quill out now. You seen that shit? I think I asked you, KP, last time we were on that
Absolutely.
commercial before we jumped on here. That pain quill commercial. I was like, "What the fuck is this shit? Pain quill?" But
Yo, so if OKC, hey, just so we can, recent history. You have Milwaukee, Phoenix. Phoenix jumps out 2-0. Won that the year. Chris Paul, D Book. They had was Mikal Bridges on that team?
With Phoenix when they 2020.
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
was.
Okay.
Yes, he
Mikal
was.
Bridges. They had a couple other guys jump out 2-0, and then Milwaukee comes back in and takes 4 straight. So, I mean, we've seen it before. So going down 0-2 isn't really a death sentence, just based on recent NBA history. But I mean, if you lose the first 2 at home for OKC, I just don't know.
Did Phoenix have home court advantage in that one? I'm trying to remember who had the better record out of the two, Phoenix and Milwaukee. I'm only asking because they always say, "Oh, the series don't start until somebody loses at home."
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up as y'all talking.
But yeah, I mean, Bong, you were about to say if they lose that,
it's gonna be a tough hill to climb to get over the hump. I mean, especially when you lose. This game reminds me of the last series that Indiana was in with the Knicks, and they lost. The Knicks lost the same way. They were up. They couldn't bring it home in the fourth, and then Indiana takes them into overtime, and and seals the deal. This time, they were only down 1, so even though Haliburton was a step inside the 3-point line, it didn't really matter because they only needed 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just those games. These are the games that you, as a series goes on, these are the games that you replay in the back of your mind. Like, damn, like we should have won game 1. The Knicks continue to say we should have won game 1. If the Knicks win game 1 of that Pacers series, we're looking at a 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's in New York. Who knows what happens? OKC, same thing. You're the better team. You were the better team all throughout the year. You can't give up game 1. And that's where we talk about like this era of basketball, like a prime Tim Duncan, a prime Kobe Bryant. Even if you want to go back, MJ, like these guys that are considered the elite of the elite, the top tier guys, like the best of the best, they're not giving up those games. They're not giving up those games.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times with lesser talent. Just but they're coached better. They were coached better, and they had just better talent. So SGA, shout out to you for winning MVP. But when it came down to it, and MVP plays needed to be made, you were not making MVP plays down the stretch, and it cost your team the game.
And you had a couple role players who were getting busy, man. Like, you get that kind of effort from Dort and then Caruso too. Like, are they gonna repeat those kind of efforts every time they step out? I doubt Dort wasn't really shooting well before this game, at least from three. So is he coming out hitting what was it, five threes
Five
this
for
game?
nine. Five
Yeah,
for
is he
nine,
doing that
56%.
shit? He doing that shit again? Probably not. You know. There's a couple comments though.
And,
Chris.
and Phoenix was at home. They were at home the first
Okay,
two
so they were
games.
at home the first two. Okay,
Yes.
so and that there you go. So they win the first two, and it kind of goes to this. Chris is saying Phoenix and Chris Paul publicly were talking like they were champs already. They'll never get another title, probably the Bucks nor Giannis again either. I think that's why Giannis is trying to get out of there. I think he knows that it's a wrap in Milwaukee as far as them pushing for some titles. They'd have to make a lot of moves, especially like getting, they already brought Lillard on over there to help um, Giannis and broke up the
When it got a
nucleus that they
doctor.
had. Yeah,
When it got the doctor.
yeah, yeah. Who Bong says
As
is not a doctor. Call him by his name.
Oh yeah,
Mama called him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
I'm calling Clay. Yeah,
what
absolutely.
so Bong is did he lose his doctor title when he lost his job and they hired a nurse? Because Philly got rid of the
Wordplay.
doctor, bought in Nick Nurse.
Glenn
Message.
Glenn lost his job to a nurse. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Hey.
I think for Milwaukee, you're happy. You get a championship. You got a championship out of Giannis.
Yeah, that's it.
And there's no bad blood when they part ways, right? You're happy that it was fun while it lasted. Same thing with how Kawhi came to Toronto, and when he left, it was like, thanks for your service. We appreciate everything you did for the community, but no bad blood. It's not a LeBron leaving Cleveland type situation. It's definitely different, but.
And then
Yeah,
Orlando, before you got on, we were talking about I think Bong mentioned KD and how Phoenix is trying to shop him now. He says, y'all remember weeks ago about when I mentioned KD to the Spurs? Rumor mill is hot now. I don't know if he'll end up with the Spurs. That would be kind of crazy.
The Suns shopping KD is a hot rumor, and what the Suns are finding out is that the interest for a 36-year-old scorer isn't as high as they thought it would be. We see how if he lands in the West, what Anthony Edwards does to aging superstars. So he can't beat his peers, but if you line up any aging superstars, and Edwards is the man for the job. So, I don't know. Again, and at the price tag that he comes with, is it a 1-year rental? What are you going to have to give up? What assets are you going to have to give up to get KD back? To get what 23, 24 a night. Shit. I mean, you can find some of these young boys out here to give you 20 a night. So
I think KD
You
does
think
more
Durant?
than so.
I'm about to say, you think Durant's only a 20 a night kind of guy?
No.
I'm not talking about just points.
I said he's a 25 a night guy, but you can find some of these young dudes that's cheaper to give you 20.
And that'll play defense like him too. He still plays defense.
It's
He's
not
all
scary.
around.
But what I'm saying is, at 36, it's
Oh,
not
it's a decline for sure.
okay. It's
Yeah,
not the same Durant, and that's why when Golden State picked up the phone and said, "Hey man, what's up?" and he turned Golden State down. It's like the nerve of you. This is the only place you've ever saw success. This is the only organization you've ever seen success, and you turn your nose up at them when they say, "Hey man, let's do this thing one more time."
they wouldn't
We
have won
measure
with him.
success. Are we measuring success as NBA titles?
Yes. What the fuck else are we?
Okay.
Come on, KP, don't do that tonight,
I mean,
man.
listen, hey man, MVPs are success as well.
I know you. I know you sick, but I know you ain't sick in the head. Let's
Nah, man.
let's not do that tonight.
I-
Championships, man.
I want-
Championships for the.
They wouldn't have won with KD, Golden State,
Why not?
adding him this time around.
Well, I mean, if Steph's hammy, because of Steph's injury, no, they probably. But think about it. Would you rather have
Hey,
KD
hold
or
on,
Jimmy
hold on,
Butler?
Bong. Where is engineer? Because look, Chris said I'm gonna guess Bonger's not a KD fan. Engineer, where's that list that Bong has? I need a refresher on Bong's list.
Engineer, don't do me like that.
Okay, Bird in the building.
Hey, look,
What's going on?
I'm just saying. First off, let me ask you this, DP.
You say Pacers in 6. But go ahead, Bong.
I'm gonna ask you this, DP. Would you prefer Jimmy Butler or Kevin Durant?
I would prefer Kevin
right now.
Durant.
You're talking
I
about
would
right
prefer
now.
Kevin Durant.
Right now,
Yeah.
Listen, let me say this. Let me say this though. The impact that Jimmy Butler had on the Warriors, motherfuckers were like, "Oh shit, they a true contender." It wasn't until Curry got hurt and then Butler didn't step up like people thought that he would.
Correct.
That people were like, "Oh, what the fuck is going on with Jimmy Butler?"
And with Jimmy Butler, I still believe that with a healthy Steph Curry, they make it to the Western Conference Finals and they probably get washed by OKC. What I'm saying is with a healthy Steph Curry and KD, they could beat OKC.
I don't think so.
Look at the Pacers. Are we not gonna say that Golden State had one of the best defenses in the league this year? You said KD still plays good defense, right?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
He does.
So now if you put him on
Jimmy Butler's all right.
He's all right. He's who's better, KD or Jimmy Butler?
No, I said I'm taking KD.
We're taking KD.
So what I'm saying is upgrade their already really good defense with KD, who's going to give you 25 a night to go with Steph. I'm telling you, my thing is KD. You turned your nose up at that reunion, and it's ego and it's pride, right? You had somebody that really, hey man, we want you back, bro. We had success with you. Like, let's get that feeling back. And you're like, nah.
But how do you know it's ego and pride?
Nah, I've been there, done that.
How do you know it's ego and pride?
What is it? What is it then, KP? What do you think it is? If Golden State calls KD today and say, hey, KD, we want you back, and he's like, no, tells his agent, I'm not going to Golden State. What do you think it is if it's not ego and pride? Give me one word.
Pride. I'm saying maybe it's Draymond. Maybe he just doesn't want to play with Draymond and deal with Draymond's antics. Draymond is an acquired taste.
So he's scared.
No, it's not scared. It's some people just don't want to deal with that.
He said one word. I would just say chemistry.
Yeah, but what I'll say is, and here's the other thing. And I was listening to a sports talk radio show earlier. Let's say you're bringing in 36-year-old KD to a young organization, to a young basketball organization, right? What are we going to ask a veteran KD to do with a young NBA team?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna.
I'm asking him to do what?
You're gonna ask him to groom the players.
To be a what?
You're gonna want him to lead. You're gonna
want him
to lead. Be a leader.
To be a leader, and we all know.
Want him to.
We all know that what KD is not a Come on,
He's a
say it
bucket
with me,
getter.
guys. Come on.
In
Come
your
on.
eyes, look,
He's a
in
bucket
your
getter.
eyes, in your
Hey,
eyes, KD is not a leader.
KD is
Look,
not a leader. He doesn't
look,
want to be a leader.
and to
He
answer
is. He is.
some of the
Go
some of
ahead.
Nah,
the chat is
Bog, I
answering
agree
your
with you.
question saying
He's not a leader.
Draymond.
I agree with you.
Dizzle says Draymond also was the issue with KD not wanting to come back. So the chat is saying that. But Bong, I don't listen. I always say this. I think that KD is showing dudes by example in terms of like the way he plays and probably the way he practices and works out and goes about his craft. So he's gonna show dudes how
By
to be a
example.
professional, right? But
Yeah.
all of the other stuff that you're talking about, like to will a team and galvanize the troops out, motherfuckers always say stuff like that. Maybe not so much, but he is gonna show you like, nigga, this is how you get to it.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
K Bird. KD has been linked to. I mean, how many teams would you say, KP?
3, 4
At least, right? And
is
this is just
Minnesota.
Minnesota, New York,
Yeah.
Houston,
San
San
Antonio and
Antonio.
Houston.
So
Yeah.
again, but what I'm saying is, KD, at some point, we need you to, if we're asking you at 36 to come to a team, we need leadership. And I just don't know if KD he's not. We know he's not willing to do that. So we see that if you go to Phoenix and we need you to be more than just a bucket getter, that you're not doing that. It's
Uh,
just buckets.
Phe-
Is
the
Go ahead.
Phoenix thing, though, the Phoenix thing, and this is I'm gonna go back to this because I always say this. The Phoenix thing is more eyes on KD because of KD's name, his legacy, and what he did, right?
Yep,
But
yep.
to me, still, you got to start looking at Booker, who's supposed to be the young superstar, the guy on the rise, the
In
Anthony
his
Edwards
prime.
of their team, so to speak. And it's
Okay.
like, you got to put some blame on the other guys, and then
Absolutely.
you
Yes.
got a Bradley Beal who was, as we always talk about, face of the league, face of a team, and all that stuff. You got a Bradley Beal who was the face of, albeit probably the purgatory team of the league with
The
the
Washington
Wizards.
Generals.
The
Right,
Wizards.
right.
The Wizards.
Wizards, whatever you want to call them, Wizards, Bullets,
The
whatever.
Washington Generals. So
But yeah, I mean, so it ain't all on KD yet. I get people talking about him because he has the bigger name. So
but again, I'm just saying, I wish the best for KD. I wish he could have came back to Golden State because I think they could have made a run with Steph and KD even in their old age because their game translates to today's NBA, right? These are professional scorers. These are top tier elite scorers no matter their age. The reason LeBron is not going to work with a Luka is because they're too well, LeBron's not really a volume shooter, but sometimes when it's not working going to the basket, he's chucking threes. And you want LeBron chucking threes because that's not a winning formula for him because he's not truly efficient at shooting threes. Luka is not that efficient at shooting threes, but he's a professional scorer, right? Steph Curry and Durant especially are efficient scorers. I don't need 30 shots to get 30 points. And that still holds true with Durant to this day. He can get you 30 on 14, 15 shots. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
So and all I'm saying is, if you're, and I hear you with, he's a lead, not a leader. You think he's not a leader and all of that stuff, but it's got to be somebody who feels like they're on the verge because that efficiency, that's value still. Like, and he could still bring something to the table for a team that that needs some shit like that.
if you're Houston,
Not and that's like a young building team, right? That's a young team that's probably years away from really
no, no,
being
no,
in
no. Who?
Oh, Houston,
Houston?
Houston's years away.
What I'm saying is, hold on. Let's slow it down. If you bring KD in to be your closer, right? Man, we got a young team. We got a great coach. He can galvanize the troops. Like I think somebody said that. I think it was it might have been engineer.
I thought you said he. I
Said,
thought you said he can't galvanize the troops.
no. I'm saying they have a coach that can galvanize the troops. I'm
Okay,
Oh,
talking
okay.
about.
I
because
thought you were
I
talking
think
about Nate.
engineer said that Houston has Ime. So
Got you.
so you have young talent. You have a coach that can galvanize the troops, and he's young enough. Ime Udoka is young enough that he can kind of still has his finger on the pulse with the team, with a young team. And all you need KD to do is just come through fourth quarter, close. Like I think he can get you over the hump, right?
I mean, but that was kind of the issue with Phoenix was inconsistent. Like inconsistent, didn't have a deep bench. If you get KD over there, you're gonna have to break that team up. Because Kevin, you was KP, you were already talking about a couple of the guys that you'd have to give up in order to put together a deal to bring KD over there.
And is it a
Well,
1-year rental?
I said it's Giannis. I said the move for Houston is to get Giannis.
Either one. Let's say you're bringing
Yeah.
either one. You got to give up some players so that roster's not going to look the same, right?
Absolutely.
And you and engineer, you're the resident Rockets fan. Do you trust Jalen Green being consistent enough alongside of KD for him to even be in a position to close the show? No, I'm just asking. I'm asking.
You know how he feels about Jalen Green.
So,
He'll trade
this is what
Jalen
I'm
Green
saying.
for a bag of Skittles.
But this is what I'm saying. I agree with what Bong is saying. If you're in a position to close, but they're so inconsistent. They're young, inexperienced, inconsistent. Will they be in that position to close for KD to just take them over the hump? I don't know. They gotta work on some things, and I would have to see how the roster shakes up after you bring KD over. Who you have to send out, send off, and all of that kind of stuff.
All that to say, for him to turn his nose up at Golden State, I think it would have been a great opportunity for him to. And again, we'll never know. What they say in the Tootsie Pop commercial: the world will never know, or may never know. But I think he passed up on an opportunity to make another Finals run with Golden State as constructed. But again, who knows what happens with Steph Curry and his hammy, and if that leads him to
now.
the
What I will agree with Bong is that the situation in going to Golden State was better than his current situation. So I will agree with you there in saying that. I just don't know if he went to Golden State this past season, if it's going to be a better situation that may transpire for him this offseason. Because I think he's getting moved this offseason.
It's just with Golden State, you have to ask the question of, is an older version of a Curry, Draymond, KD good enough to carry you? No Klay Thompson, and questions on the bench because Kerr didn't dig in his bag just like Thibodeau, who got the axe, which we'll get to pretty soon.
Right. Can we talk about that?
Just like Thibodeau, and you don't even know what you have on your bench. You don't even know. So you have to develop players. So it would be, are those three enough to take you to the chip? I don't know, man. Maybe a better situation, but I don't know if they're winning, or even getting there. But yeah, why not, Bong? Shit, look, get to it. Shit,
Hey.
your boy Tibbs is out.
Hey man, don't let the door hit you. You did, where the good Lord split you. But it was long overdue. It was long.
You think
overdue.
so?
Yeah.
Well, Bong was saying that. Bong was saying, what has Tibbs done in New York to warrant him an elite coach? So he's always been on that.
Yeah.
He's been saying it. What I think is messed up is like Cat got Tibbs fired twice. He got him fired in Minnesota, and then he got him fired again in New York. Like, man. So if you're Tom Thibodeau, don't coach Karl Anthony Towns if you want to keep a job
So
because it
so is
doesn't look like it's happening.
is it a personnel thing or is it a Tibbs thing? Is it more of a
I think it's
personnel thing or is it more of a Tibbs thing? A Thibodeau?
So there were
I think it's
reports that
both.
No. I said, what is it more of? Is
I
it more
think that's
coaching
hard.
a Tibbs
or is
thing.
it more personnel?
It's more coaching. There were reports that there were players that were questioning why someone like Landry Shamet wasn't getting more minutes. Like you have players that were questioning, like, why are we not going deeper into the bench, right? So what everybody was saying on the outside, there were talks about it internally, and I think that Jalen Brunson is a fan of Thibodeau because of his connection to his father and so on and so forth. But outside of that, and apparently Jalen Green his stamp wasn't good enough to save that man's job because there were other players in house that said, "Hey man, what the fuck are we doing? Like we got a roster to compete, but what it's a war of attrition, man. And if you can't use your roster wisely and you can't make sure that you get adequate play out of your role players, people that Landry Shamet, when he got minutes, he looked good. You know what I'm saying? There were guys on the bench that looked good when he was forced, and he only put them in when his hand was forced. Like, hey man, this person's in foul trouble. This person's in foul trouble. Ah man, get what the fuck is his name? Get yeah, that guy with the curly hair. Bring him on. Get him on the court. Like, bro, like you're not gonna win like that. You're not gonna win like that. And it showed. And it showed. And ultimately, I think, this might be a situation where this team is ready to compete. Let's say they go out and get a KD, somebody can close. I mean, I don't think they need a closer because they have Brunson, but who knows
Hey,
what that.
Bong trying to put KD on
No,
everybody roster.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because his name has come up, in talks
I'm
with
fucking
New York. So I'm just saying it like let's say you guys think, hey man, we're one piece away or we're one step away. You go get a KD. Now you just need a coach that you can believe in to put you over the hump. Mike Malone's name has already been.
It wouldn't work with them though.
Here's the problem though, Bob.
Carl Anthony
I'm
Towns,
sorry.
man.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying
Here's
it
the
wouldn't
problem,
work.
Bob. With this situation, you fired Tibbs. The New York Knicks, this is the first time they've gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals since, 99, 2000? So he's
The
exceeded
2000 shot.
he's exceeded all the last Knicks coaches in the last 25 years. And you got him to the Eastern Conference Finals. You just made the trade for Cat. It's been one season.
And
Run it back and see where you are.
And some would say that this is similar to an Eagles team where, not to switch to football, where, hey, man, we're going to give you a roster that we believe you should be able to win with. And if you can't win with the roster, then it's not the front office, it's the coach. So let's go get somebody that we believe can get it done.
But it's like this.
But what I'm saying, you guys think with the Knicks roster as currently constructed, those motherfuckers can go and beat Indiana next year if Indiana is the same currently constructed? If Mike Malone comes in, now all of a sudden the Knicks will beat them now?
I think that so in the playoffs, the rotations go to 8 and 9 guys. So rarely it's 9, it's primarily 8. New York was playing 7, 8 guys. So it wasn't like they were doing anything out of the norm. They're playing their starters a lot of minutes and playing their 6th, 7th, 8th guy. Well, more so your 7th and 8th guy, a little less minutes. But how often are we finding NBA teams playing 9 and 10 guys making it to the championship, other than this year with OKC and with Indiana?
They were consistent. So you're saying that in the playoffs, NBA teams are consistently playing 7 guys. Don't you trying to make it
8
8?
guys. 8 guys. 8. Eight
The
guys.
Knicks were playing 7. So I mean, tell me, because Landry Shamet what was he? Who was he? What was he on the in the rotation?
Sometimes he was 7. Yeah, sometimes he was 7. Sometimes he was 8.
Okay, so
Sometimes he was
8,
getting DMPs.
okay,
Because you
there we
got to
go.
think.
Let's keep talking. I mean, so again, that's a coaching thing. That's not a personnel thing. You have personnel, but it's now the coach's job is to be able to put these players in the right position to go out there and win. I continue to defend Mark Jackson not getting a chance to put together a championship roster that he built in Golden State. But damn it, when Steve Kerr came in, he put the players in place and he won a championship. So it's no different with Tom Thibodeau. Like, what has he done to say, "Hey, man, give this guy another year"? He's been with New York for how many years now? 4, 5?
Yeah, but if you ask what he's done, it would be that they progressively get better and go further every year. That would be the answer to that. But they don't. It's not enough. It's not enough. So
few solid niggas left.
Yeah,
it's not enough, man.
And Alf Sucks in Mock Draft says, you say Mike Malone won a title, and how can't he be the guy? I'm asking, does Mike Malone make the difference? Because look, here's Nick Nurse won. Y'all talking about Nick Nurse before he won. What you gonna say about him in Philly if that shit don't gel together? Is it gonna be more coaching or is it gonna be personnel? Like,
I'm just saying, Vogel won, and you saw how Phoenix did him.
Yeah, I mean, but what is and that was that bubble bullshit, but we ain't going.
Hey man,
so here's what I'm gonna say, and I when I said Mike Malone's name is gonna come up, the thing that I didn't get a chance to finish was that people see Mike Malone as a similar style of coaching as Tom Thibodeau. Hard-nosed, not a play, old school, not a player's coach. So you got this young Villanova team. Then you start hearing about who's the coach at Villanova with all his young pups that's now in the NBA.
Jay
Wright. Okay.
Yeah.
And you start thinking like, hey, Jay Wright, we've been trying to get you in the NBA for a while, right?
We've been trying to get you on the show for too long.
Nah, but what'd you say, KP?
Otherwise.
What KP say? He overcooked in the microwave, but I'm saying the NBA's been trying to get Jay Wright in the league for a while. Like, what better way to do it with 3 of your Villanova guys?
So
he's removed though. He had to coach college basketball in 4 years.
Alf Sucks in Mock Drafts. I see a lot of the comments that you're making, and I don't necessarily disagree with you, right? You say Nick Nurse ain't the problem in Philly. Okay. You say Ty Lue is a good coach. Okay. But this is what I'm saying though. It's a fine line, right? Because at some point they're gonna start talking about the coach. If you get into a certain point, you just saw it with Thibodeau. If you get into a certain point, they're going to start turning and looking at the coach like, okay, well, this motherfucker can't get us over the hump. How many coaches got fired with winning records down the stretch, approaching the playoffs this year where you was like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
what's the dude in, dang, he was in Detroit just a little while ago. Dwayne, what is his name?
Not
he
Casey.
was in, that's it, Dwayne Casey. Remember he was the coach of the year in Toronto and got fired that same season because they couldn't get past LeBron. It happens. You could have a winning record and do well and be out of there.
And then you see Monty Williams with Phoenix and you say Monty Williams is the issue. You ship him out. He goes to Detroit. They don't do shit and Phoenix don't do shit either. So what the fuck was really the problem? Is it the coaching or personnel? That's why I say it's always a fine line.
But Monty Williams wasn't going to win in Detroit when they sent him there, and they knew that.
True, I know, but I'm just saying. And then Phoenix, that's why I added Phoenix. Y'all didn't do shit either. Like,
Hey, K Bird said Monty lost
Monty lost
28,
28 straight.
28 straight
Hey,
games.
that Detroit, and then it just, you know what? And
Oh,
I don't know if Dizzle is still in the building. What also kind of works against him is that after he leaves, then Detroit turns it around.
Detroit pops
Yeah.
with a lot of the
Yeah,
same guys, but
exactly. Yeah.
and I'll say I'm not trying to bash Thibodeau, but I feel like a lot of him being let go has to do with, listen, man, we slayed the giant. The giant in the East, in everybody's estimation, was the Boston Celtics. We slayed the giant.
Yeah.
Bring this thing home. If he gets them to the finals and they lose to OKC, I think everybody's okay with that. But to lose to Indiana, who they believe, again, just go back to game one. Go back to game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. If we don't squander game one, we have a game seven winner take all type situation. Let the chips fall where they may. And you squandered
I,
that. That's on
but
coaching.
Bong,
That's on coaching.
Bong,
Game one is on
Bong,
coaching. Game one is
Bong.
on coaching.
Is
Can we agree on that,
you gonna
KP?
keep saying?
Before you, yes, I'm going to
I'm
keep
not gonna.
saying it.
Okay. So as you're saying that,
KP over there building the parachute with all that damn tissue.
so Bong, we could say the same thing about Detroit,
Okay.
and is good in that series with New York. They squandered games in that first round. It went to 7 games. Detroit had New York a couple times and they let it get away. So you can't use one argument for New York against Indy if you're not going to use the argument that New York should have been bounced in the first round to Detroit.
So they both squandered games, but what does that have to do with Tom Thibodeau?
So I'm just saying that's a part of the game. That's a part of the NBA. That happens. We've seen it happen more times than not in these playoffs. We saw Minnesota squander one. We saw OKC squander one to Denver in game one. It happens. So I'm just saying at the end of the day, Thibodeau did something that none of the Knicks coaches did in the last 25 years. You gotta let him see it
And
through.
it's uh, see what through the end of Brunson's career? Like,
You gotta give him another year. Give him another year and see what
I
happens with this
I
next
agree
year.
with a year. Like, it's just the timing of it to me. But I know Bong was saying that this shit was gonna happen. So I mean, in the way they've been getting rid of cats, I'm not surprised. It's just, it's the timing, right? And again, like you've shown improvement. You were there. You were right there. Let's say next year you make this move and you're worse. Then what is everybody saying? Of course, you have to wait and see at
Hey,
this point.
hey,
We're
DP,
rebuilding. That's what they're
Mm-hmm.
saying.
hey, DP and KP. We talk about OKC being up 14 with 9 minutes left against Indiana. New York was up like 11 points with 3 minutes. If you're the coach for this team, bring us home. Bring us home. Bring us home. So if you can't do that, bro, get out of here. We looking at so you talk about Chris Finch, right? I think Minnesota is a cute story. They got a few more times to hit the Western Conference Final and not be able to get over the hump, and they gonna send his ass packing too. Tom Thibodeau had 4 or 5 years with New York. He's been coaching the same way he coached in Chicago. This motherfucker got 2 coaches of the year with no championships. Has he made it to a finals as a head coach?
No,
Okay. What are we talking about? Who the
no,
fuck is
he
this
hasn't.
guy that we should extend him more grace and say, hey man, come do it one more time? When Lionel Richie say, do it to me one more time. You feel me? Like, fuck all that. I'm serious though. Like, get you somebody that can
Oh, shit.
get you over the hump. You got a team that's ready to win right now. You got a team that's ready to win right now. So
Real quick too. I'm glad Dizzle said this because he, this is hometown team. So he said you can't fault Monty Williams. He told them he couldn't coach because his wife's situation, and they kept giving him more money. Final offer was he was one of the highest paid coaches, and he and his wife had free access to use the owner jet for his wife's cancer treatments. He's saying his heart wasn't in it, and he took the bag. I would have done the same. So, I mean, yeah. So that's some different insight on it. So
Yeah.
So I mean, coaching, man, it's a like DP said, it's a fine line. It's a fine line. You know, everybody's looking at what's the guy coaching Indiana right now?
Carlisle.
Carlisle.
Rick
Like
Carlisle.
He's a fucking genius. Carlisle
But
is the best.
he has a chip. He got one with Denver.
Right. But what I'm saying is, chip or no chip, Carlisle is being looked at as a
his was with Dallas, right? Not Denver.
That's what he meant.
Well, yeah, I'm in Dallas. Yeah,
but Carlisle, chip or no chip, is being looked at as the best coach in the playoffs, and he's doing so because his team is winning games, regardless how they have to win them, regardless how it's happening. Lucky shot here, lucky shot there. Just keep stacking wins, and we're going to look at you and say, hey, man, he's making all the best adjustments. He's making all the greatest defensive adjustments, the best offensive adjustments, because you're just winning. So it's a fine line. But, again, I keep thinking back on that game. Like, I literally stopped watching the game, that New York game. I'm looking at text messages. People in group chats that are New York fans have already proclaimed victory in game. It makes a difference, DP.
But I'm saying I'm gonna throw this example out to you, and you're gonna be like, we could do this shit all night, right? OKC squandered that shit off when they were doing the foul situation. That was coaching, the strategy, and they won the series. Personnel is what truly won them the series, I think. Like, so it could be. I mean, coaches can fuck up, but your players can still just be better. Your team can still just be better, which I think that was the case for OKC. So, I mean, it's obviously case by case. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm just saying, like,
Alf sucks. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, KP, go ahead.
I see Alf sucks just made a comment, and I'm saying, nah.
Which one?
We're not gonna throw this last one. Carlisle, Spoelstra, Atkinson, a top three. I think they could go in any order. Nah, take Atkinson out. He stuck with the Cavs in the playoffs this year.
They were injured. They were massively. They had a lot of injuries. Come on, KP.
Come on, man.
You gave Boston hella grace.
Well, no, this is what I'm saying, Bong. When Atkinson went to a team that made it to the second round of the playoffs last year, they got rid of Bickerstaff, JB Bickerstaff. They fired him, and he went and turned Detroit around. So don't tell me that Atkinson is a better coach than a JB Bickerstaff. Cleveland was already made. That was a ready-made team, and he still couldn't get them over the hump. He stunk. He got out coached. He stunk. He didn't come with it. So don't tell me he's a top three. Don't tell me that Spoelstra's a top three right now in that Heat culture, because there is no Heat culture anymore. Like, come on, man. Top three.
It doesn't matter how good of a coach you are if you don't have the personnel.
That's
what you just said.
What I didn't say. No.
I'm talking. No. And you did say that just now. But what I'm saying is, you're talking about DP. You're talking about the players still got. You were saying it from a standpoint of the players still have to go out there and make the plays. I'm talking about if Cleveland comes into the second round of the playoffs and they're hobbled from game one. They were missing three players that contribute. Not three Thibodeau players that are players 7, 8, and 9, or 8, 9, and 10, but we're talking about starters, people that get that log heavy minutes, and you come on, KP, you can't say that doesn't matter.
No, what I'm saying is I'm saying that those aren't better coaches than Udoka, than JB Bickerstaff. They're not better than them.
No, and
they have titles. They're not better than Carlisle. They're not better than Tyronn Lue.
And I'm just defending Atkinson for the performance in the playoffs. I don't put him in the top 3. That was again, the thoughts and views of Al Sucks and Mock Draft. Hey, the thoughts and views of Al Sucks and Mock Draft are his and his alone, and do not represent the thoughts and views of 2 Peez and a Bong. We fuck with Al Sucks and Mock Draft, man.
I give, but from the standpoint of you saying they had injuries and a lot of things kind of went against them and wasn't working in their favor in the playoffs with Cleveland, right? So that's kind of okay. I could see that. Bad timing for them to.
What happened in Boston, even with their championship last year, and what happened this year with them in the playoffs, and what happened with Houston in 2 years, speaks to Ime Udoka being definitely top five coach.
Oh yeah. In the NBA. Now Boston is a coaching situation because you have a roster that, you have competitive guys, you have a well-rounded team, and you just refuse to play to your greatest talents. You just want to shoot the three. It's like KP was saying before, it's a stubborn a stubborn scheme that you rolling out there, and you refuse to step off your block, and that's their fault. Like, of course, you didn't see Tatum, tearing his Achilles and stuff like that, but they were already looking like they're about to be out of there anyway. They were just waiting. Look, hey, what we in Gladiator, and the thumb is this way. They wait, they
were just turn it down.
Yeah, like, so it was just a matter of time for Boston. It's just their coaching situation. Like, I agree with you. You put Ime Udoka back in there, they look different. They approach the game different. They probably attack different matchups, and they have a different type of scheme. Like, I don't know, man. It's just that one I would say for sure in Boston. Like, but again, Al Sucks at Mock Drafts. What do you say about your boy in Boston? He's got a title. Is he a great coach? Like,
hey, E. Gibson, that's a hell of a stat he just posted.
OKC was 29-1 this season versus the East regular season, which is an incredible stat. Only L at Cleveland. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
only L in the playoffs from the Eastern Conference team so far is against Indiana at the crib.
But hey, K Bird, I agree with you from a standpoint of Eric Spoelstra went from the young video analyst, coordinator, whatever you want to call him, to he's Godfather status right now. I mean, I don't want it to get lost on anybody that they were able to make it. They made it to the play-in, right? And
can I say this about Spoelstra?
Yeah.
I want you to finish your thought though before.
So they've been able to even, take it all the way back to the bubble. And I know everybody talks bad about the bubble, says the bubble wasn't shit and so on and so forth. But to make a finals run there and then to remain competitive, even though they didn't have Miami hasn't had a true superstar, somebody that you would look at as a top, no disrespect to Jimmy, but he's not a top 15 player.
Playoff
2020 he
wise,
might have been.
playoff wise,
And-
it was a
and-
different
In
story.
in 2020, yeah, playoff Jimmy was a thing for a reason.
Yeah,
Because they're saying that in the playoffs, this guy's game goes to the next level, but that's not who he is in the regular season. So I wouldn't put Jimmy as a top 15 player in the league. And even if you want to say he may have been in 2020, since then, Eric Spoelstra has made playoff runs or playoff appearances with Jimmy Butler not being a top 15 player. And, characters like what's my man? Hero, Bam. You know what I'm
You
saying?
talking about
Like,
Robinson? He talking about Robinson.
no, Hero.
Oh,
Tyler
okay,
Hero.
okay.
Yeah, so Tyler
Okay.
Hero. I mean, these dudes that are cosplaying as as stars. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
Oh shit! You said
but
cosplaying as stars.
yeah, man, like I
That's
mean, but
cold.
he was able to really get the best out of not great situations. I'll say that. So, I mean, but that still doesn't give him, I think that gives him Godfather status now. He's got the chips. He's got longevity in the league, you know. So, he's got that, he's got emeritus status right now. But yeah,
So,
I wouldn't put him currently as a top three coach.
so what years did Miami win the championship with Spoelstra? Like 20,
That was
was
the
it
Heatles, right?
2012, somewhere around
They
there.
won
The
two.
first
2012.
the first one was like 06, right? Oh, never was that.
Not
No,
2012.
that
Why am I
was
saying
no, that was Pat Riley, right?
Pat Riley was 2012 with LeBron and them, right? Pat
Yeah,
Riley
yeah,
was with when he went as a coach. That was with
Oh
Wade and
four, oh
and
four,
and
yeah,
and Shaq.
oh four. That
So
was
yeah.
04.
what I was gonna say about
The
Spoelstra.
shady finals.
Oh, 06.
Okay,
Nah, 06.
Oh, that was 06.
okay. K Bird
Oh
said
06. Sorry,
2012,
my bad.
2013. Okay, and Al Sucks in mock draft says it was it.
Yeah.
So this is all I'm saying. Um, and I wanted Bong to finish his thought, but you know, behind Spoelstra was Pat Riley.
Yeah.
And if you think that he wasn't scheming up shit and helping him do that shit, use a fool.
He was
So
Geppetto. Pat
he
Riley
had
was Geppetto.
he had the benefit of Riley, who did it as a did Riley win as a player?
Yeah, I believe he won as a player. I
I
know he
have to
won
I
in
have to
college
fact
as
check
well.
that. But
I know he won in college as
and
well.
one as a
And
coach with another
yeah,
organization before he
with the
got there.
Lakers.
One
Don't
when
don't
he
don't
got
listen. Don't try to skim over and not say my
no with the
Lakers.
Lakers. I mean, you want me to
I'm messing
specifically
with you.
say, yeah, he won with your
Yeah.
Lakers, Bong and KP's Lakers, and then he won with Miami when he was there. And it's like these other coaches um may not necessarily have the benefit of having a guy like a Pat Riley behind the scenes. So Spoelstra was in a perfect situation where I think Riley basically handpicked the guy he wanted to be his successor, and he just kind of groomed him and played it along that way. He probably had just as much, if not more, to do with those championships, as Spoelstra.
Do the
I'm not knocking Spoelstra
do
because
the
and
hey question? Do the Knicks
and
make a
DP
finals run?
he
Do the
did
Knicks make a finals run with Spoelstra
no,
as
no,
constructed?
no,
no,
I don't think so.
Wow. Okay.
no.
So they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with Tom Thibodeau. You're saying they can't make with this team as it's constructed. You don't think they can make a finals run with Spoelstra? So
No,
you think
no, I think
No.
Tom
no,
Thibodeau and Spoelstra on the same level?
no. I think that the Pacers were just better. I think the Pacers would have beat them. Period.
You
I've
got
been saying this though.
Al Sexton
So
mock draft says yes. K Bird says yes. Obviously, I mean he was saying that if you gave him a top 10 player, he could make a finals run. So I mean,
I think Al Sucks at mock drafts, you saying that Tibbs was the reason they lost. I just think that Indiana was the better team.
I think that there's a couple players, there's a couple coaches that could have did it, and I think for that New York team, those coaches would have been hard nosed coaches. So JB Bickerstaff, um, Udoka, because that's the style that New York likes to play. So I think it would have meshed. I don't think that. I think it's a facade with Spoelstra. I don't think Spoelstra's as tough as he tries to make himself look to be. That's an act, man.
Okay.
So, so y'all don't. So y'all think that Pat Riley's still pulling the strings at 87 years old, or how?
At Montgomery, at the ripe old age of Montgomery Burns.
Probably why.
Yes.
Probably why they ain't able to make it happen now.
I mean,
Time for a change.
Riley, they still do weigh-ins. You still can only have a certain amount of body fat. That's Pat Riley. So absolutely.
And I see K Bird saying Spo would have put his players in a better position than Tibbs did, and they would have utilized the bench better. I saw somebody else said Gibson said he felt like Carlisle outcoaching Tibbs was huge in that series. All I'm saying is, and then K Bird said Montgomery Burns is crazy.
Wild as hell.
What I'm saying is, at some point, and I know, you gotta just put some respect on the Pacers. And that's all I'm saying, Bong. I'm not necessarily saying that Spoelstra wouldn't have done a better job. I just still think that the Pacers are just a better team. They're just a better, in my opinion. Well, what the fuck do I know? It is what it is. But I just think they're a better team.
I dig it.
I agree. And I got to stop disrespecting them, man, because I've disrespected them the whole entire postseason. And look what they keep doing. Keep winning.
All I do is
surprised me tonight,
win no matter what.
Yeah, the motherfuckers surprised me tonight. That's for sure. I'm not gonna lie about
Absolutely.
that part though. Hey, check this out. Cool little change of pace here. We've been talking about coaching, right? And how like shit could get kind of stagnant. And at what point do you move on and be like, all right, it's time to get somebody else in here, change the culture, shift shit up. How much respect are we putting on Tomlin with the Steelers and the way they're, never having a losing season, but then in the playoffs don't really make it happen. And now you bring who in the building?
The ultimate
Your
cancer.
man. Your man.
That's your man's in them.
Your man.
So how is this gonna work out with Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers and Tomlin still at the helm as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers? How y'all think that situation is gonna work out?
Sounds like a circus. Sounds like a circus, man. Aaron Rodgers has brought the circus into town the last couple seasons. And last I checked that Tomlin is a defensive-minded coach. Robert Saleh was a defensive-minded coach in New York. So, did well. So when you construct a defense that's like, hey, look, man, we're gonna hold the team to 12 to 13. Hey, man, just manage the game. Get us 14 points. Get us 17 points, man. Just can you please do that, Aaron? And Aaron doesn't do it, and Robert Saleh loses his job. This might be Tomlin turning in his papers right now, because I think the same thing is going to happen with Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh.
Robert Saleh getting fired for losing games 10-9. Like, bro, we held the team to 10 points. We got Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall on the other side of the ball, and we putting up 9 points against Anyway,
So what do we say in that point? It ain't a solid thing, but is it an offensive coaching issue since it wasn't solid?
Aaron Rodgers brought in the offensive coordinator because it was his golfing buddy. So what I'll say is this. I'm gonna start by saying this. We're already off on the wrong track, right? We're already off. We've gotten off to the wrong to a rocky start off the rip. Aaron Rodgers' name has been floated around with Pittsburgh for months now. It's a foregone conclusion that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to take Aaron Rodgers. They signed him to a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm. They haven't disclosed the details either, right? On the deal. Okay.
But I think he hasn't signed yet, but he intends to sign with them ultimately. But you've already basically told him that the way he wants to do it is okay because you haven't brought him in for any of the voluntary stuff, right? You're a new guy and you're a quarterback in a new organization trying to learn the players, trying to learn the playbook, trying to see what offense you're running. You want to get as much time as possible in. Aaron Rodgers believes that I can just show up on day one and just get to work, right? And I just don't see that happening anymore. My issue is Mike Tomlin. He's been great as a player coach. He's been really good with keeping things under wraps in the locker room. So, the Antonio Brown situation before it spiraled out of control, who knows how much Tomlin had withheld and kept in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers is a different beast because Aaron Rodgers isn't going to kill the locker room from come in the locker room, tear shit up, talking crazy. He's playing mental warfare. That's the worst kind of cancer you can be in a locker room. It's not the guy that is going to give you the outburst that's overly emotional, wants the ball, this, that, and the third. It's the guy that can silently, quietly divide the locker room, and he has his guys, and you have coach's guys. But the sad part is you guys had an opportunity to get a quarterback in the draft. Even if it's, yes, Aaron Rodgers will keep you for 1 year, you're a bridge quarterback, but next year, the year after you leave, we can develop a young quarterback behind you. I think they forewent or passed on Shedeur Sanders because they already had a backdoor deal with Aaron Rodgers. And I feel like you hamstrung your football team for the season, which is fine. I just keep seeing on Twitter. I'm on Twitter all day, right? And I'm like, I'm hearing people saying like, wouldn't it be ironic if Mike Tomlin never had a losing season and can get it done with Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph, one-legged Russell Wilson,
and a Kenny Pickett who got the little hands like the dude and something about Mary.
But if it's this year, the first year, if this happens to be the first year that he doesn't have a winning record and it's with the Hall of Famer, Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to see Mike Tomlin go out like that, but
it's not Tomlin, it's the organization deciding to put the chips in on Rodgers. Like you just ignored any possibilities of addressing that position in the draft with any other free agents. You let Fields walk. If Fields plays well in New York, there will be some talk about that. If he outplays Rodgers,
well, apparently
there'll be some talk about that.
Apparently, they were willing to bring back Fields. It was Russell Wilson they didn't want to bring back, but Fields, because of the way they disrespected him. Remember what they did? He gets off to the high start.
Yeah.
And then
we talked about that shit.
Yeah. And then they like, hey man, we're gonna go with Russell Wilson. And then at the end of the season, they're like, "Hey, Fields, you want to run it back one more time?" He was like, "Man, fuck y'all."
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So listen, I'll say this too before you continue. Y'all know I preach this about learning your new body. Pause if that could be taken any other kind of way. But learning your new body after uh catastrophic injuries, what could be career-ending injuries for some people. And I always say it takes 2 years. Aaron Rodgers, barring any other setbacks and injuries, he will be better than he was last year. Because now he knows, okay, I can plant this way. This is how how I can stand when I throw this way. I get more, torque on the ball doing this. It's the little things. And the same thing happened where we could name, Paul George, Kevin, all the guys who had to adjust after they got injured. So he'll be better than what he was last year. It's just, will it be good enough to put the Steelers in a position to be like a true type contender? And anything short of that, with all this deal behind this shit and waiting on him to make this move, anything short of that is gonna be, y'all bullshit.
Yeah.
Go ahead, KP.
Oh no, I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm agreeing.
Okay. And he's gonna have to do it with less talent. I would say that the defense he had with the Jets last year and the defense he'll have with the Steelers this year will probably be comparable. The Steelers are a good defense. They had some injuries late in the season that really turned their defense around in the wrong direction. But on offense, he had Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
He had Devontae Adams. He had Breece Hall at the running back position, and they had another running back that was getting busy. He had his binky or his blanket or his pacifier in Alan Lazard. He called for these guys. He called for certain guys to be there to make him feel comfortable, to make him feel all warm and cozy, right? And this motherfucker couldn't get him over the hump. And for a team that actually went all in with him, when he said, "Hey, I don't want to win games with Salah, or I can't win games with Salah because them holding teams to 10 isn't enough," they got rid of Salah and said, "Aaron, okay, what do you want? What else do you need? What else do you want?" So, again, I've seen what Aaron Rodgers looks like, and I'll continue to say this. I'll stand on the table to anybody that's willing to listen and tell you that in today's NFL, this is the new NFL. This isn't the early 2000s NFL where every team had one number one wide receiver and a bunch of other guys. If you're a contending team in the NFL right now, you have to have 2 stud wide receivers. The best teams in the NFL have 2 stud wide receivers. If you only got one guy, especially if you don't have Patrick Mahomes, it's not going to work. There's 3 guys. There's 3 guys that I'll continue to say can win it with minimal talent on the outside, with minimal wide receiver talent. It's Patrick Mahomes. He's evolved. Plus, he's had one of the best play callers in the NFL in Andy Reid at his side. He has a tight end as a security.
You sure it wasn't Eric Bieniemy?
It was Eric Bieniemy, and before Eric Bieniemy, it was what's the man that went over to Chicago and lost his job over there? But Patrick Mahomes, one of the best, the best quarterback of this generation, and he's evolved past needing a number one wide receiver to get it done. The other 2 guys that can get it done without having extreme talent at the wide receiver position are Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. And those are 2 guys that use their legs a lot. So they don't necessarily, it's not like they're standing in the pocket trying to throw for 5,000 yards. It's like, hey, man, if this shit's not here, I'm jumping out the window and I'm gone. Other than that, look at all your top guys. Jalen Hurts, he just won the Super Bowl. He has Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You talk about Matt Stafford. He loses Cooper Kupp. He brings in Devontae Adams to pair with Puka Nacua. Right? You talk about everybody's favorite. Everybody loves Joey B. Right? In Cincinnati, he's got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Like all the top teams.
But
Go ahead.
here's what I'll say about the Steelers though, because KP kind of led into the conversation with the grinded out type of style. Only give up 12 points. If you can put 2 touchdowns on the board, you win, or holding teams to 9, all that kind of stuff. Pittsburgh, they haven't really changed the coaching staff or scheme and all of that kind of stuff. Main pieces are in place. So their scheme is pretty much going to be the same. They're building under the way they built under the Tomlin regime. So it's going to be defense, hard-nosed defense. And I think it was Engineer who said earlier, they got an old line, and they drafted Caleb Johnson, the running back, was one of the guys we were talking about. If they rely more on a bruising type running game, and then hey Rodgers, flash some of that old, some of your old, flair from back in 2000 whatever. Just give it to us here and pause. Do it here and there. They may think that's enough to get them over the hump. If they can keep games close, control time of possession, stop guys, run the ball. They may not hit DK Metcalf on some mismatches here and there. They may not be looking at what you're talking about, like the two receiver type thing.
And DP.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying like their
No.
mindset could be like, this is how we're approaching.
But that's Tomlin's mindset. Tomlin's mindset is, I'm a play defense and run the damn ball type of coach. Tomlin
needs and their draft picks kind of
right.
Exactly.
That's
what I'm saying.
He first round he goes D line, right? Like all the shit you need, he goes D line first round. And KP, I know you gotta get going, man. You know what I'm saying? We'll definitely catch you on the next one, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Right,
but yup, peace.
But DP, I'm talking about so that style isn't winning. You're not winning with that style. Tomlin needs to fucking graduate and get his ass in the game. Like, it's great that you're able to constantly scrape and claw to get into the playoffs. But at some point in time, man, get over the hump. And you've got to stop saying like, hey man, we're gonna win with this old gritty Pittsburgh Steelers style of football. And Engineer, no disrespect to Stroud definitely, but I mean, because his receivers are in flux, I think Stroud needs some weapons out there. We'll see how he does. He's got the rookie. Did they get Burden in the second round? I can't remember who they got, but he definitely got somebody. And Engineer, don't take me to this place where I can talk my shit. But to be fair, Dak's almost MVP year, he only had CD, which is why I continue to bang the table and say Dak Prescott is a victim of playing for a franchise who is incompetent, who is a disaster. They're in the same ballpark as the Cleveland Browns, as the Cincinnati Bengals, as the old Detroit Lions. Like, they're not a great franchise. They're not a great organization. We haven't been able to stop the run in 7, 8, 10 years, and we still have not addressed the defensive tackle position.
Man.
So yes, that makes me speak highly of Dak because he was able to do it with half a fucking roster.
I'm looking at the Texans draft picks. They got the 2 receivers out of Iowa State, Jaden and Jalen. So Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. Both of them were pretty good, and I think it was what's his name, Steve Smith Sr., who was actually, when we were talking about the wide receiver he was like, quietly, you got to start looking at not Ohio, at Iowa State, because they put out guys who were like uh more NFL ready than a lot of these other guys, and they end up being solid prospects. So maybe those two do develop into something for the Texans. Engineer, you might know more about it since you've been following, so I don't know. And then I didn't know that they picked up Marks from SC. Woody Marks, the running back. So they got him in the and it looks like the 5th round. So I don't know. They got him in the 4th round. Got him in the 4th round. So Texans, okay.
Hey,
Texans might be.
you talking about the bowling ball from USC? Short. He's kind of short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
rushed he rushed for 1,000, I think.
Okay. Engineer. I'm with you, man. I want to see Stroud do well, man. I like his game. He's a Northern California. I think he's Northern California, right? Stroud.
Stroud. Uh
Yeah, I think he might be a Bay Area kid, but either way, man, I love his game. And um, I think the Texans will do good. I love the coaching staff. I love the defense.
nah, he a IE kid.
Oh, okay, he's Southern California. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, but again, you lose Stephon Diggs. He partying on the boat with the hoes. Um,
Huh.
you lose Tank Dell. He's probably not going to be back in time for the. I mean, if he comes back this year, it'll probably be towards the playoffs. So now you're asking your boy. What's the wide receiver? I had him in all my leagues. Um,
Nico Collins.
Nico Collins, thank you. You're asking Nico Collins to go out there and get it done with a rookie. Does Joe Mixon still have anything left in the tank? I mean, he started to kind of, uh, you know, run out of gas towards the end of the season. But I'm rooting for Houston, man. I like what they have going over there, man. That defense is going to be A1. We'll see. We'll see what it is. But I just don't see anything coming out of this Aaron Rodgers thing. It's like, one of those guys where it's like you start seeing some of these older players on teams, and you're like, man, I'd have never pictured you there. But he's just trying to end his career. He's trying to see if he still has it, if he can make a Tom Brady type, have a Tom Brady type resurgence late in his career. But we can say this about Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't get hurt late. He didn't get hurt as he got older, right? He stayed pretty healthy, believed in all that plyometric shit and eating, avocado ice cream and shit. But
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see. I don't see it with Aaron Rodgers. I would be pleasantly surprised if Aaron Rodgers is successful with Pittsburgh, if they make the playoffs and they win a game. But
Okay.
if with Aaron Rodgers, the Pittsburgh Steelers scrape together 9 to 11 wins, they make the playoffs and lose in the first round. They've done nothing different than they've done with Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett,
Mm-hmm.
and a list of other guys. They're going to always win, 9 to 10 games. They're going to always make the playoffs, and they're always going to lose in the first round. And to your point earlier, Engineer, not drafting Shador. Maybe if you didn't want to take him in the first, that's great. You didn't want to take him in the second, that's great. By the time he got down to the 4th round, and you can bring in a Shador Sanders as somebody that's going to lead you into
Just
the
do
next
it.
chapter,
Just do it.
like who
What
are
do
you
you
trying to
lose at that point?
exactly? What are
What
you
the
losing?
fuck?
Like,
Anyway.
yeah.
All right, man. Well, shit. Anything else you want to holler at the folks about before we get up out of here?
Nah, man. I think that's it, man. I know we normally have KP's picks, but shit, he was under the weather today. But
Okay.
nah, man, we're good to go. We're good to go.
Yeah. Don't forget about the Discord, y'all.
Absolutely.
Get on in there if you haven't. The link should be up and running. Should be working.
Yes,
And
indeed.
you can find it on our Instagram page, and you can also find it on our YouTube channel. So, man, we are trying to grow. So tell some folks about us. Tell your friends to
Tell a
jump on
friend.
the show. Yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another one. Tell
Yeah,
your mama, your pappy,
yeah, yeah,
whoever. You know,
yeah. Indeed.
we can engage them all.
Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, so we appreciate y'all. Get in that Discord. We'll see y'all next time we get on here, which will probably be after probably game 2, right?
You
You
too.
said game
Sunday.
2 is Sunday?
Sunday. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
But in the meantime, in between time, we'll post some stuff on the Discord and probably get some shorts and stuff up. So, y'all can holler at us that way. So, all right, man. Well, that's it.
We out.
All right. 2 Peez in a bong. We out.